Hi everyone, welcome to Awkward Author. My name is Alyssa Grasso, and this is my weekly vlog and podcast about my sometimes awkward, always awesome author life. Coming to you from a gray and rainy spring day here in Pennsylvania. So I guess on the author front, it has been a somewhat productive week. I did finally get my ebook box set for my first 3 young adult novels all uploaded to the different storefronts and posted, and I think it's live everywhere now, or will be shortly. As I've said to you in previous weeks, I decided to put together a box set of my first 3 books. They're all standalone books. They're not a series. The only thing that links them together is the fact that they are young adult books, pretty much in the contemporary realistic genre. So, I don't really make any money from these books. I have the rights back to them. These were all originally traditionally published, but I do have the rights back. I was for a while using the one book as a reader magnet, although I stopped doing that because I'm really trying to push the thriller stuff, so I'm using my thriller novella as a freebie giveaway to try to, get mailing list subscribers. So, right now I have these 3 books for sale. I think I have them all listed individually at like $2.99 a piece for the ebook. Figured, hey, I'll put the 3 of them together into a box set and maybe try to do some promotion with them that way. Now, I priced this box set at $4.99. It's available wide. I'm not exclusive to Amazon, so it's not something that I'm going to be getting reads on, which is too bad because it's like a 900 and something page book, with, the 3 novels put together. But, I have it priced at $4.99 as, like, the regular retail price, and I think, once I get everything kind of set up and figured out, I will probably be doing some promos with it where I'll, like, knock the price down and, try to drum up some sales that way. I haven't really... I have some ideas about it, but I haven't quite come up with a formal plan for that yet. But that is probably what I'll be doing with that. So I decided to title the box set Edgy Girls because, like I said, this isn't a series. So there's 3 completely different standalone books. And, with different characters, the only real link is that, they're young adult novels and I wrote them. That's really the link. So, and they're all female protagonists. So, teen girl female protagonist. So that's why I decided to name the set Edgy Girls. Just kind of, I guess it's kind of a generic kind of title, they're all living life on the edge kind of thing. If you're watching the video, I'll post the graphic here and so you can see what it looks like. And if you're listening to the podcast, well, you can look it up on my website or Amazon or what have you, if you really want to see it. So, I put together a completely different cover that doesn't really match any of the books because the books themselves don't have matching covers because, like I said, they're not a series. And, just trying to kind of link things together. The hardest part, I would say, of putting together this box set was writing the blurb. And I know it's like, you've written like all these books like that are, thousands and thousands of words long. How hard is it to write a short little blurb? But for me, and I know for a lot of authors, this is something we struggle with, like, trying to condense, a complex story and novel down into like this short little capsule of information and also make it enticing for readers who want to, read more and read the book. And so it's especially difficult when you're trying to write a blurb for a box set of 3 novels and 3 completely different novels. I mean, you would think, well, maybe it's easier because you already have blurbs written for all 3 books, but I can't just, cobble them all together because, well, for one thing, it would be way too long. And for another, it's just going to be a mess. It's not going to make sense. So I did my best at, coming up with something that has like sort of a general, intro and then goes, a few sentences on each book and then, kind of push at the end to get people to buy it. So that's what I did. Again, if you want to see that, it'll be on my website. It'll be on the store sites as well. My boyfriend helped me with that. Like, I wrote something and then he helped me fine tune it and also find the mistakes that I'd made, because I always make mistakes. I am not a detail oriented person when it comes to anything, really. And certainly not in terms of like writing stuff. So it's always good, no matter what you're doing, to have another pair of eyeballs look at it, because you don't want a typo right there in your description or something. And having said that, I sure hope there aren't any typos or anything in it, or in anything else that I've put out there, but there probably are some. So, that was my big, I guess, marketing project for the week, even though that isn't really marketing, that's just putting a book out there. It's weird because it's a bit anticlimactic. I mean, it's not like I'm publishing something new. This is just kind of it's not even really a rebranding of something that I've done already, because all this stuff is still out there. It's not like I've taken it off for sale and, replaced it. It's just kind of a different version of everything that's already out there. But it's something I did want to try, and maybe with, some playing around with the pricing and doing some, promotion and marketing, I can, move a few copies and make a little bit extra money with my books, which these books aren't really bringing in any money right now. So that's something we'll have to see about going forward. On the writing front, definitely I'm making progress on my work in progress. Moving slower than I would like. It's coming together. I'm still tweaking the outline for it, but also I've started writing, and I will tell you this, I'm not someone that always writes things in order, which is why I do love Scrivener and also outlining, because it just makes my life so much easier. And so the chapters that I've written are not, well, I'll get to that. Most of what I've written is not the first, the beginning. It's not going to be the first chapter. I worked on something last night. I actually worked on, it's not going to be the first chapter. It'd probably be the second chapter, but like the first chapter focusing on the one character. And I don't know, I wrote maybe, it's like maybe 1,500, 2,000 words, something like that. So not, a ton of stuff. But basically, I spent quite a bit of time, not quite a bit of time, but, a couple hours maybe working on this, and, tweaking things and getting everything just right. And like, basically right as I'm at the end of it and like getting to, what's going to happen next, I was like, oh, like I just had like a brainstorm moment where it's like, that's where this chapter needs to begin. Like all the other stuff, while it's good and, creates a little bit of information about the character and sets up the scene and all, it's like way too much like exposition. I realize, like, it's just it doesn't get to the point, which is funny in a video where I'm not getting to the point. But no, it just what can I say, it isn't a good place to start. Like, you have to start the story where stuff gets interesting, really, or else you're gonna lose readers. And I realize that, and sometimes you have to write a whole bunch of stuff that you're gonna scrap because you've realized the interesting part is, when she explains about, here's the thing, it's a character pitching a new story idea about, these deaths of like these women that, might be linked by murder, and, that's the exciting bit, the part about her trying to get to the magazine offices and dealing with a subway train delay and stuff like that. While that helps to set up the scene and stuff, it's not especially interesting. The murder stuff is the interesting bit, especially in a book that's, a thriller novel. So that stuff that I wrote, most of it is probably just going to wind up in my folder of like deleted scenes, and nothing will come of it. But sometimes that helps too, just to kind of write some stuff out, and it gives me at least a little bit of a feel for the character, and like stuff that even though I'm not using necessarily that text, it gives me kind of like a foundation for like, okay, this is how things have played out for her. This is who she is. And I can use that as I, write subsequent chapters and write that chapter. So it's not completely wasted, but, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Like, you get to the point where you're like, oh, oh, right, this is where the chapter has to begin, and why didn't I think of that before I wrote these 1,500, 2,000, whatever words? So it happens, even with outlining, even with planning things out. There are little missteps like that along the way. So I don't know if any of you are in the same position I am, but this has been a week of feeling like I'm in my own little bubble, that I'm certainly, out of the mainstream in terms of pop culture, at least. And I say that because this past week, if you've spent any time at all on social media or have, read news stories or whatever, there's like all these people just all excited and going on about Game of Thrones and the new Marvel movie, and I'm just like, I don't care or even know what the heck you're talking about. I've never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones. I have no desire to watch them. It's just not my thing. And I haven't seen, I don't follow the Marvel movies. I think the only Marvel ones I've seen are like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So like I haven't seen any of the superhero flicks. And again, it's just not really my thing. I guess I'm, old and out of touch, which is part of it. But there's some old out of touch people too who are into this stuff. So, well, I guess they're not out of touch if they're into it. But yeah, I just feel like a little bit, I feel like I'm the last person on earth that, hasn't watched Game of Thrones or hasn't watched, the Avengers movies or anything like that. So, yeah. If any of you out there are in the same boat as me, I just want you to know you are not alone. And we can live in our own little bubbles and be just quite content and happy. So as far as what's on the agenda for this week, I'm going to continue to move ahead with my work in progress. Hopefully, I don't have too many missteps and can actually make more progress on it than I've made, and don't waste my time writing stuff that I'm going to end up cutting. But there'll probably be some more things that get cut along the way, which is just how it goes. And perhaps I will actually, start to work on marketing my ebook box set, and maybe some other things as well. I really have been neglectful of the marketing. It's just I haven't really found something that works for me yet. And until I do, I feel like I'm just kind of like throwing money at ads that, aren't going anywhere, or just like wasting my time trying to do things that, don't really have an impact on my book sales. And speaking of book sales, by next week, I will have a new author income report for you. Once again, I will warn you not to get too excited. In fact, I think sales are going to be lower than what they've been in the previous 2 months, and they were not especially great those 2 months because I just know I haven't, moved that many copies, and things have like kind of tapered off a little. I don't know what was going on in April, but it seemed like it was a little bit slower in terms of sales. It was slow to begin with, so slower is not so good. So moving in the wrong direction there, but we'll see. I got a new box set collection out. I have told myself I have to, be better about marketing. I don't know if I will, but we'll see. We'll see what May holds in store. In the meantime, I'm going to sign off, and I will see you and talk to you again next week. I hope you have a great week. If you're writing, I hope you're making tremendous progress, better progress than I'm making, that's for sure. And I will catch up with you soon, guys.